Why hello there, and welcome back to Some Weirdo on the Internet Recommends Several Zine Month projects. That's right, I am going beyond Zine Quest and into the larger, greater Zine Month, because that's the whole thing. There's another Zine thing, it's Zine Month, it's all over the place, not just on Kickstarter. There's a whole reason for that starting last year, but I'm not going to get into that. The point is, there are Zine Month projects that are not part of Zine Quest, and I will be looking at those as well. Specifically, I will be looking at 3 Zine Quest projects and 2 non-Zine Quest projects. So let's get to those Zine Quest projects first, starting with Smörgasbörg, which is a cannibalism-themed supplement for MEKKAKONKRETE, with cannibal classes, taverns, items, harvesting table, just all kinds of cannibal content for your MEKKAKONKRETE experience. And I do really like these kind of single topic supplements, taking one fairly specific idea and then just covering it as thoroughly as possible. And they seem to be covering it very thoroughly. This thing's apparently going to be more than 70 pages of cannibalism content. And also, in kind of a weird move, they're including a set of miniatures as part of the rewards, so they're going very, very extra for this particular cannibalism-themed tabletop role-playing supplement. Although, now that I think about it, it is kind of weird how I criticize Fatal for its weird fixation on cannibalism and then just sing the praises of this, which is arguably even more fixated on cannibalism. I guess that's the difference between doing something poorly and doing it well. And moving on, we have Temple of Blank on the Planet Blank, which is a statedly vague, system-neutral adventure, which is the sort of thing that would normally never even come close to catching my attention, except that this one has one very interesting, very distinct feature. It is going to be a collection of 100 randomly generated adventures. Yes, every single one of the 100 print copies of this thing is going to be randomized via computers and spreadsheets. It's not like 100% randomly generated, the things have been written or drawn and what have you, and then a computer is just putting stuff together in a random fashion so that, as I said, every single one of the physical zines is going to be a unique thing. So that sounds like a cool thing to me. That is the kind of stupid gimmick that gets my attention, and hopefully I will remember to back it before all of the physical zines are gone. I have a really bad habit of forgetting to back these things. And the final Zine Quest project, Under the Graveyard, which is a little rules-light cooperative role-playing game where you play as ghosts, using your ghostly abilities to help mortals. So it sounds like kind of an interesting, creative problem-solving and cooperation type thing, having to use your limited ghost abilities like subtly moving objects or influencing people's dreams and such to indirectly influence events, because you cannot directly influence them, and that sounds like an interesting mindset to put yourself into, and like limitation for solving the problems in an interesting way. Also, I swear I am not intentionally choosing other projects about ghosts just so I have an excuse to bring up my own project. I would be doing that anyway. Anyway, now let's move on to the non-Zine Quest projects. Starting with Candied Blood, which is currently funding on GameFound. For Trophy Dark and To Change, which is a specifically transformation-themed role-playing game, which I will be looking at some point in the future. But yeah, the adventure, it's kind of weird. It is basically characters are going to the abandoned chocolate factory to try and lay claim to the candy empire that has been vacated after the Willy Wonka analog has died. And then, of course, they have to survive in the chocolate factory, which, as the movie has indicated, is quite difficult, but also avoid being turned into candy and consumed. because that's what this is about. It's about going into a chocolate factory where you may or may not get transformed into candy and consumed. So, you know, it is a little weird, and hopefully by now you figured out that that is kinda my thing. I like the weird stuff, and this definitely qualifies. So it probably will not be a surprise that this is the recipient of this video's Golden Flumph. It is a really cool looking thing, it's a really interesting looking thing, so, you know, if you like the more unusual side of tabletop gaming, or, you know, are into TF, then this is definitely something you're going to want to check out. And finally, MEKKAKONKRETE. I think it's always difficult knowing how to pronounce these ones where the title's a made-up word, which is currently funding on Crowdfunder, and is a comedic fantasy game, which is the sort of thing that normally wouldn't even be close to worth mentioning, except that in this one you play as robots raiding a fantasy world for the silver that they need to make more robots. And that just sounds like some good old-fashioned fun, having some robots running around a fantasy world with their severely advanced technology, raiding tombs and shooting knights with their laser guns, just, you know, space robots doing space robot things in a very non-space robot setting. And those were my top picks for the first week of Zine Month 2K23. And make sure to keep an eye out for my Zine Month project, Penetrating the Veil, a journaling game about fucking ghosts, which will be coming soon. I don't have an exact date yet. I am, you know, I'm busy doing stuff like this, so that's putting me a bit behind. Link to that and all the other projects in the description, and I will be back next week, and hopefully not awarding the Golden Flumph to a third transformation-themed game, because if I do that, people are going to start to get weird ideas. And thank you for watching, with extra special thanks to my Fightin' Flail Snails, Samuel Gorski, Randy Mulholland, and Toshirokuro. If you'd like to be cool like them, you can check out my Patreon, where you can get early access to videos and fun stuff that I make for the Patreon. But if you don't want to do that, that's cool too. You can still hit all the lovely buttons, like, subscribe, these other videos which either myself or the Cold Heartless YouTube algorithm have lovingly selected for you, which I'm sure are lovely videos that you will also enjoy. And I will see you next time.